The last slave left behind. The alien slave market was full of noise, buyers shouting, cages clanking, and slaves crying. Bright lights flashed above rows of cages lined up like animal stalls. Species from every corner of the galaxy were on display. Some were strong, some were beautiful, and others were skilled in many trades. One by one they were sold. Alien nobles walked around in rich robes, pointing at slaves like they were nothing. Traders smiled greedily, scanning credits and locking chains around wrists. The air smelled like oil, metal, and fear. At the far end of the market, in a small, dark cage, sat a thin alien girl. Her skin was gray with dirt, her hair was tangled, and long, almost hiding her face. Her hands were chained, and strange black symbols were burned into her arms. One symbol stood out. It meant worthless. No one looked at her. She had been there for weeks. Other slaves came and went, but her cage remained closed. Even the guards had stopped checking her. They believed she would die in that cage. After all, she didn't talk. She didn't cry. She didn't even move unless water was tossed in. As the market neared closing time, the final bell rang. The traders smiled. Every slave had been sold, except her. The auctioneer looked at her and laughed. "Still here, eh? Not even worth a half credit." Just then, a man entered the market. He was different. He wasn't dressed like the other buyers. No golden cloak, no high boots. He wore a plain black jacket, dusty pants, and a metal glove on one hand. A human. Everyone stared. Humans rarely came to slave markets. They were known for hating them. But this one walked straight through the crowd, silent and focused. His eyes scanned the cages. "Looking for something?" the auctioneer asked, mocking him. The human didn't answer. He stopped in front of the dirty, small cage. The girl inside didn't look up. She kept her head down, hiding her face behind her hair. "This one?" The auctioneer laughed again. "That's a mistake, human. She's been cursed. Useless. Some say she brings bad luck. No one wants her." The human crouched near the bars. "She has a name?" "No," the seller shrugged. "We call her Scrap." He reached into his coat and pulled out a few credit chips. "I'll take her." The auctioneer blinked. "You serious? For her?" "Open the cage," the man said, firmly. Whispers began to spread through the crowd. Some laughed. Others shook their heads. One alien noble scoffed. Humans and their strange kindness, always picking up trash. The seller opened the cage, still chuckling. The girl flinched. As light hit her skin, she raised her head slowly, revealing pale, glowing eyes. The human stepped closer. "Can you walk?" She didn't answer. But after a moment she stood. Her legs were thin, shaking. She almost fell. But the man caught her with one arm. As he helped her out of the cage, she leaned close to his ear and whispered something only he could hear. "You don't know what I am. They will kill you for touching me." The human didn't blink. Let them try. With quiet steps, they left the market together. No one stopped them. No one dared. Some laughed, some spat. Some cursed the human for wasting his money. But no one followed. The girl looked back once at the cage that had been her prison, then forward, to the strange human who now walked beside her. For the first time in weeks, she took a breath that didn't taste like metal. She had been the last slave left behind. But someone had finally seen her. The marketplace was still buzzing, with laughter long after the human left with the worthless girl. Traders mocked him. "Foolish human," they said. "He bought death with his credits." But the human didn't care. He walked calmly through the dirty streets of the spaceport, the girl leaning weakly on his side. Her steps were shaky, her eyes half shut. But her voice echoed in his mind. "They will kill you for touching me." The human, named Cole, didn't respond to her fear. He just held her tighter and led her into an old dusty ship parked in the docking zone. It wasn't shiny or powerful. It was scarred, patched up, and forgotten, like the girl he carried. Once inside, he placed her gently on a bunk and started, scanning her for injuries. No infections. he muttered. But you're badly malnourished. The girl watched him carefully now. Still silent. Still unsure. But she hadn't tried to run. He poured warm water into a cup and handed it to her. Here, you don't need to fear me. Her hands trembled as she took the cup. She stared into it, almost afraid of the reflection. I'm not here to hurt you, Cole said quietly. You're safe now. Suddenly, she looked at him sharply. No one is safe around me, she whispered. Especially not you. Cole didn't flinch. He sat across from her. You're not cursed, he said. You're just abandoned. The girl's lips parted as if to speak, but she hesitated. Something about this human, his voice, his calm, was strange. Not soft, not cold, just solid. After a long silence, she asked, Why did you buy me? He leaned forward. Because no one else did. That's not a reason. No, he nodded. It's a choice. Her eyes searched his face. You don't know who I am. You're right, he replied. So tell me. She paused again, fingers gripping the edge of the bunk. Then, in a quiet voice, she said, My name is Sayalari. Cole nodded. Good, that's a start. She looked confused. You're not afraid? Should I be? She blinked slowly. They called me Curse Blood, said I bring ruin. I was born during the black sun eclipse. In my culture, that means I'm death itself. Cole shrugged. Superstitions. I'm human. We don't believe in fate. Sayalari looked down at her arms, at the burned marks on her skin. They do. Cole stood and walked to the control panel. Well, they sold you for almost nothing. They threw away what they didn't understand. He powered up the engines. The ship hummed with life. Sayalari flinched. Where are you taking me? Away from here, he replied. To a quiet world. Somewhere no one knows your name. She looked uncertain. You really think that's enough to stop them? No, Cole said, but I'm not running. Suddenly alarm screamed. 3 signals appeared on the ship's radar, fast-moving, locked onto them. Cole narrowed his eyes. Already? Sayalari's face went pale. The hunters. Cole calmly pressed buttons, setting the ship into flight mode. Looks like I bought trouble after all. She stood, panic in her voice. You don't understand. These aren't normal bounty hunters. They serve the High Circle. They'll destroy everything to reach me. Cole looked at her. Then they'll have to go through me. She stared at him in disbelief. Why? Why? Are you doing this for me? He turned back to the controls. Because sometimes doing the right thing doesn't need a reason. As the ship lifted into the stars, the girl sat down quietly, gripping the cup of warm water with both hands. She had never met anyone like him. He didn't just buy her. He believed in her, even when she couldn't believe in herself. And out there, in the darkness of space, the ones who hunted her were closing in. The stars outside the ship's window stretched like lines of silver. The human ship, old and slow, floated quietly in the dark, far from the slave market and the chasing hunters. But even here, peace was only on the outside. Inside, Sayalari sat in silence. Cole placed a warm bowl of food in front of her. Soft grains, some alien fruit and protein cubes. It wasn't fancy, but it was clean, cooked, safe. She didn't even touch it. You haven't eaten in 2 days, Cole said, sitting beside her. Your body won't last much longer. She didn't answer. He pushed the tray gently toward her. I'm not asking you to trust me, just eat. Stay alive. Still nothing. Her eyes were empty, hollow like an old well, too deep to see the bottom. Cole had seen many things during his travels. War, famine, betrayal. But nothing disturbed him more than the look of someone who had already accepted death. You think starving will save me trouble? He asked. That if you die, my problems disappear? She finally spoke, voice low and rough. You don't understand. If I stay alive, they'll come, and they won't stop. Good, Cole said calmly. Let them come. I've got a few surprises too. She looked at him then. Really looked. You're not afraid of death? I've already met him once, he replied. Didn't like him much. Her lips almost curved into a smile, but it faded quickly. Cole stood up and walked to the side of the room. He opened a metal crate and took something out, a small glowing stone. Do you recognize this? He asked. She gasped softly. That's a memory core. Cole nodded. It was hidden in your cage, taped under the seat. I found it when I carried you out. Her voice shook. You opened it? No, it's encrypted with your genetic code. Only you can open it. Solari's hands trembled. She reached for the stone but stopped halfway. What's in it? She whispered. That's what I was hoping you'd tell me. Solari stared at the stone. Her face was pale. I thought they destroyed it. That's why they branded me, because I remembered things I wasn't supposed to. Cole leaned forward. So you're not just some runaway slave. She closed her eyes. I'm not even supposed to be alive. And then she stood, not fully steady, not strong, but with a kind of fire in her spine Cole hadn't seen before. She walked to the table and sat down. With slow fingers, she picked up the spoon and took a small bite of the food. Cole didn't speak. He didn't smile. He just watched. Solari chewed slowly, then swallowed. Her throat moved like someone learning how to live again. After a few moments, she looked at him and said, You think you saved me, but this isn't over? I know, he said. Then why? She asked again. Why save someone like me? I bring nothing but danger. He answered quietly. You were the only one who didn't fight to be seen. Everyone else begged, screamed, sold their skills. But you had nothing. And you didn't fake anything. That meant something. A strange silence filled the room. Solari looked down at her hands. They marked me cursed because I refused to obey. I was born with memories. Memories I didn't earn. Images of a place I've never seen. People kneeling. A golden symbol. Fire and blood. Cole's eyes narrowed. That sounds like royalty. Maybe genetic memory? She nodded. That's why they fear me. Not because I'm cursed, but because I remember the throne they stole. Cole leaned back, crossing his arms. Then we need to find out who you really are. Solari's eyes burned with a new light. If I open the memory core, everything will change. Then it's time, he said. Let's change everything. Far beyond the stars, deep in alien space, 3 shadowy ships moved closer, tracking the human vessel. They had heard the cursed girl was alive, and this time, they would not allow her to remember. The stars outside flickered like cold eyes watching in silence. Inside the ship, Solari sat cross-legged on the metal floor, holding the glowing memory core in her lap. Her fingers brushed against its smooth surface. It felt warm, alive. Every time she touched it, images sparked in her mind. A throne room, soldiers kneeling, a golden emblem shaped like a flame. Cole watched her from the cockpit doorway. Any luck unlocking it? She shook her head slowly. It's protected by a blood seal. I need time. We're running out of time, he said, tapping the radar screen. A sharp beep rang through the cabin. Solari's head snapped up. What was that? Cole didn't answer at first. He stared at the screen, then finally spoke. We've got company. He turned the screen toward her. 3 red dots. Fast-moving ships were closing in behind them. Her face went pale. It's them. The Black Circle hunters. Cole cursed under his breath and jumped into the pilot's seat. They found us faster than I expected. Solari stood slowly. You need to leave me behind. No. You don't understand. They'll destroy your ship just to kill me. Then we'll just have to make sure they miss. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the engine room. The ship's lights flickered. The temperature dropped. The air felt heavy. Solari's eyes widened. They're already here. What? Cole spun around. She pressed her hand to the wall. They use shadow tech. They don't just fly. They phase. They enter through dimensions, like ghosts. Can ghosts bleed? Cole asked, drawing his plasma revolver from his side holster. A moment later, the ship shook violently. Alarms screamed. Red lights flashed. Silari nearly fell as a metal pipe dropped from the ceiling. Cole jumped up. Hold on. From outside, dark shapes surrounded the ship. They didn't look like ships anymore, more like creatures of black, smoke wrapped in metal skin. No windows, no lights, just shadows. Then, thud. Something landed on the roof. Another. Thump. Silari turned to Cole, panic in her voice. They're boarding. Not for long, he growled. Before he could move, the roof split open like paper. A long, clawed hand reached down through the hole, followed by a figure wrapped in flowing black robes. Its face was hidden behind a smooth mask with glowing red eyes. Return the cursed one, the creature hissed. This is not your war, human. Cole raised his gun. It is now. He fired. The plasma bolt struck the figure's mask, burning through it. But the hunter didn't scream, it didn't flinch. It simply fell backward and melted into smoke. Another stepped through the hole. This one spoke in a cold, calm voice. She belongs to the silence. Her memory must remain locked. Silari stepped forward. Her hands were shaking, but her voice wasn't. I remember now. The hunter stopped. She lifted the memory core into the air. It began to glow brighter, lighting up the entire ship in white light. I remember who I am, she said. You tried to erase me. You tried to bury my people. But I'm still here. The hunter hissed and lunged forward, but stopped mid-air. Cole watched, stunned as the creature began to freeze. Its arms locked, its mask cracked. Then with a scream of static, it shattered into dust. The light from the memory core grew stronger. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Silari fell to her knees, gripping her head. Cole rushed to her side. What's happening? Tears ran down her cheeks. I can feel them. All of them. My ancestors. Their pain. Their war. The memory core floated, above her hands. Cole looked at the radar. 2 enemy ships were breaking apart. The last one fled into hyperspace. Silence returned. Silari opened her eyes. They glowed bright gold. You just scared off warships. Cole said in disbelief. I didn't, she whispered. They did. Through me. She looked at the core, now dim again. I am not cursed, she said softly. I am the key they were afraid of. Cole helped her up. Then we have work to do. The stars outside were calm again, but inside the ship. Silari's breath came in short, shallow bursts. The memory core, now dull, lay beside her, still humming with faint energy. Cole sat across from her in silence, watching. You said you felt them? He spoke quietly. Your ancestors. What does that mean? Silari's golden eyes met his. It means I carry more than memories. I carry voices, warnings, orders. She looked down at her hands like she didn't recognize them anymore. Cole leaned forward. We need answers, and I know just the place. He tapped a coordinate into the ship's console. Where are we going? Silari asked. To a graveyard. She frowned. A what? A dead station in neutral space, he said. No government, no patrols, but someone lives there, someone who used to know everything about royal bloodlines. He calls himself the Warden. The Warden? Cole nodded. He used to be a royal record keeper long before the thrones fell. Silari's hands tightened around the memory core. Will he recognize me? He might, Cole said. But more importantly, he'll tell us why they fear you. The ship landed on a broken space station orbiting a dead moon. The walls were rusted. The halls were cold. No lights, no guards. Cole and Silari walked in silence until a strange voice echoed. Human, you brought her here? A tall, thin figure stepped from the shadows. He wore a long coat stitched from old banners. His eyes were cybernetic, one green, one red. He walked with a limp, but his presence was strong. I am the warden, he said. Cole gave a nod. She remembers fragments, a throne, soldiers kneeling, fire, blood, but she doesn't know who she is. The warden turned to Sailari. Let me see your mark, he said. She raised her sleeve. The burned symbol, the one aliens called worthless, was still there. The warden stepped closer. Fools, they branded over it. But the truth never burns away. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small glass tablet. With a wave of his hand, it projected a royal emblem, an ancient symbol of flame and stars. Then he showed her arm again. Hidden beneath the scar was a faint glow, the same emblem. Confirmed, he said. She is of the first flame line. Sailari stepped back. What does that mean? You are royal, the warden said. But not just any royal. You are from the line that was erased from history, the line that once united 5 galaxies. Sailari shook her head. That's not possible. I was born in a prison colony. That's what they wanted you to believe, he said. When the flame line fell, your ancestors were hunted. Their memory was forbidden. Their blood feared. Feared? She whispered. The warden nodded. You are a memory weapon, born with the wisdom of 1,000 years. If your core fully unlocks, you will not just remember, you will awaken. Sailari trembled. Awaken what? The flame protocol, the warden said. A command code hidden in your DNA, one that can call the old armadas, ones that slept, waiting for a queen to return. Cole stared at her. You're not just royalty, you're a trigger. Sailari sat down slowly, mind spinning. They branded me cursed, because if I remembered, the galaxy would change. The warden smiled faintly. Yes, and now that you have remembered, the hunters will double in number. The Empire will not stop until you're gone. Cole looked to the warden. What do we do? Her bloodline had protectors, the warden said. Old codes, secret allies. There may be one left, but you'll need to find her, before they find you. Sailari's voice was soft. Who? The warden turned toward the stars. Her name was once Valendor. She was called the Shield of Flame, and if she lives, she will come. Cole looked at Sailari. Are you ready? She closed her eyes, steadying herself. I don't know who I was, but I know who I need to be now. She stood tall, her glow returning. I was a slave, but I will not die as one. The stars outside seemed brighter now. Sailari stood before the mirror inside the ship, her face still smudged with old dirt, her hair still uncombed. But her eyes, they were glowing stronger than ever before. Not from power alone, but from belief, her belief in herself. In the silence of the room, she pressed the memory core against her chest. The hum inside it now matched her heartbeat. She was changing, not just remembering who she was, but becoming her again. Cole watched her from the cockpit. The ship glided toward a neutral trading hub known as Station Glass. It was a floating city, lawless and free, built into the wreckage of ancient ships. Smugglers, rebels, and outcasts gathered there to disappear. Cole knew the station had one other thing they needed: information. A contact who claimed to know where the last protector of the flame line might be hiding. But as they prepared to land, Cole turned and saw her. Not Sailari the slave. Not the frightened girl from the cage. She wore a long coat of his, stitched at the arms to fit her. Her back was straight, her eyes steady, and when she spoke, her voice had changed. Let's walk together, but if anyone bows, don't stop them. Inside Station Glass, the crowd was thick with all kinds of aliens, scaled, horned, feathered, and cyber-modded. Lights flickered overhead. 1,000 deals were being made in 100 languages. As Cole and Sailari walked through the main corridor, heads turned. Whispers followed. That's her. Is that the cursed one? No, that's the one who burned a hunter ship from inside. Some stepped back. Some watched with fear. Then something unexpected happened. A tall merchant with 4 arms and glowing blue skin stepped out of a corner. He stared at Silari, and then slowly, he knelt, not in fear, but in recognition. Silari froze. Another alien, a female with silver tusks and yellow robes, dropped to one knee beside him. Her voice cracked. The mark. It lives again. Silari looked at Cole. I don't know them. You don't have to, he said. Your blood remembers. One by one, others in the hallway dropped to their knees. Not all, but enough to make the rest go silent. She didn't ask them to kneel, but they did. In a dark chamber beneath the station, they finally reached their contact, a spy master known as Vrex. She was small, sharp-eyed, and old. Her antennae twitched as they entered. You brought the girl, Vrex hissed. Do you know what kind of shadow follows her? Yes, Silari replied before Cole could speak. And it's time I stopped running from it. Vrex studied her closely. You've awakened the blood memory, haven't you? I remember fire, Silari whispered. I remember ships kneeling in orbit. I remember the shield. The woman who protected the line before it fell. Vrex narrowed her eyes. Valandor. Where is she? Silari asked. She vanished years ago. Last seen in the ice ring system, she may be dead, or she may be in hiding, waiting for a signal only a true heir could give. Silari pulled the memory core from her coat. It glowed stronger. This is the signal, she said. I will find her. Vrex leaned forward. If you truly are Flameborn, then you don't need an army. You are the army. Later, as they returned to the ship, Cole looked at her. You didn't flinch once. Silari smiled faintly. Neither did you. He paused. Back at the market, you were just a broken girl in a cage. I still feel broken, she said. But now I'm not alone. She turned toward the stars. I'm not cursed. I was silenced, but no more. As they launched from the station, another message came through the comms. To all ships loyal to the flame, she has returned. Await command. Cole blinked. You didn't send that. Silari stared ahead. I didn't need to. The stars remember. The stars were silent. The galaxy was watching. In a hidden region of space called the ice ring system, the human ship floated toward a shattered moon. Around the moon were broken satellites, dead beacons, and ancient wrecks frozen in orbit like ghosts. It was here, Vrex had said, that the shield of flame, Valandor, had vanished years ago. Silari stood at the front of the ship, her eyes locked on the pale moon below. She was no longer the girl who had been dragged across the auction floor, like trash. She was now something else, awake, aware, and determined. But the truth was, deep inside, she was still afraid. Afraid that the woman they sought was gone. Afraid that all this, the bloodline, the memories, the kneeling, would mean nothing if she was truly alone. Cole walked in, setting a steaming cup beside her. We're almost there, she nodded. Any signs of ships? Not yet. But the station's broken. We'll have to go in manually. Then let's finish this, she whispered. The wrecked station on the moon was massive. Old walls carved with forgotten symbols, broken banners fluttering in artificial wind. They walked, side by side into the ruins, Cole holding a light, Silari carrying the glowing memory core. The deeper they went, the colder the air became. Finally, in a dark chamber lit by failing crystals, they found her. A single figure sat on a throne of stone, head bowed, armor cracked and rusted. Her hair was white as ash, and her left arm was missing. Dust covered her body. Silari stepped forward. Valandor? Nothing. She moved closer. Then the woman's eyes opened, slowly. One was mechanical, one still golden. Her voice was low and dry. Flame. Child? Silari fell to her knees. I've come to awaken what was lost. Valandor stared at her. No one came for so long. I thought the line was dead. I was born in a cage, Silari said, tears in her eyes. But the fire was still inside. Velendor smiled faintly. Then it is time. She raised her remaining hand and touched Sayalari's chest, just above the heart. The memory core flared. I recognize the blood, Valen whispered, and I serve it. Cole watched from a distance. For once, he didn't move. He didn't interrupt. This was not his moment. But Sayalari turned to him anyway. Come. He stepped beside her. Velendor's gaze moved to Cole. You are human? Yes. You know what she is? I do. You know what they'll do to her? I know. Valen stared at him for a long time, then nodded. Then stay by her side. She will need you. They returned to the ship with Velendor barely able to walk. Her body was broken, but her mind was sharp. As the engines powered up, a signal burst through the galaxy. A code older than empires, a symbol, a name. The flame lives. They didn't have to wait long. Within hours, a dozen ships appeared in orbit. Ancient war cruisers hidden for centuries, still loyal to the old line. Some were damaged, some were half-functioning, but all of them responded. They didn't ask. For proof, they felt her. In the command room, Sayalari stood before the communication array. Cole stood behind her, hand resting lightly on her shoulder. You're ready, he said. She closed her eyes, then she spoke. Not with fear, not with pain, but with strength. To those who were forgotten, to the ships left in silence, to every voice crushed by empire, I am Sayalari of the Flame, born in chains, raised in shadow, but I remember now. The line did not die. It burned quietly, waiting, and now we rise. Across the galaxy, rebels lifted their heads. Former captains saluted. Hidden beacons lit up like fireflies in the dark, and on 1,000 screens her face appeared, marked not by dirt or scars, but by purpose. Later that night, Cole stood alone at the observation deck looking out at the stars. Sayalari joined him. Quiet, calm. She stood beside him, then said, You changed everything you know. He glanced at her. No. You did. I would have died in that cage, she said softly, and the galaxy would have kept sleeping. But you saw something no one else did. He smiled faintly. I saw someone who refused to beg. She leaned on the rail. They called me worthless, but you gave me worth again. They were silent for a long time. Then she turned to him and asked, Why did you do it, really? Cole looked away, then back at her. Because the universe is cruel to people like you, people who shine too brightly. And I've seen too many. Lights go out, she stepped closer. Then stay with me until the last star fades. I was never going anywhere, he said. She smiled for real this time. Not the smile of a queen, not a warrior, just Sayalari. And for the first time, she wasn't carrying her past alone. Epilogue. They say the flame line returned with fire, in her blood. They say her voice ended a war before it began. They say a human stood beside her, not as a bodyguard or servant, but as the one who saw her first. They say she was born cursed, but died legendary. But the truth? The truth is simpler. One human believed, and that belief changed a galaxy.